Okay, Phones. In honor of your growth as a human being, and a friendship saved from the rocks, I'm gonna give you a little advice and a little gift. Oh, really? Mind if I take a look at it at some point? It's Neku, not Phones.
Huh?
Oh, right, sorry, Neku. My bad. I got it now. I wonder. So let's start with some Q&A. You got questions? I got answers. To win the Reaper's game, you must complete 7 missions, 1 each day. So is it true that if we don't, we'll be erased? Well, only if you all fail, to be precise. You two aren't the only players. If any one player completes the mission, you all do. Then we don't have to play. If you all think you can ignore the missions, we'll wind up all being erased. Kind of a bit of, shoot, I'm trying to remember the particular psychological phenomena. Prisoner's dilemma. Essentially, you could all be idle, but at least one of you has to speak up in order for everyone to gain the reward. Otherwise, you're all punished. Just clear the missions. You'll be glad you did. But yeah, kind of curious what you did, Muffin. If you don't mind showing me at some point, by all means, you know the channels. Usually Twitch or otherwise, probably Discord. With the Reapers. Their main jobs are running the game and testing the players. So like that sister who gave you trouble before. They'll get in the players' way from time to time. She was such a creep. So they're like some kind of group? Yeah, very sharp bones. You've seen the guys in red by the walls. They're Reapers too. Knew it.
Huh?
But the guys by the walls never attacked us. Not all Reapers are cut from the same cloth. Some are Harriers, others are just support. The Wall Reapers are support. They won't attack you. All they do is issue conditions to pass the walls. So they don't fight. Harriers, on the other hand, hunt players for a living. Yeah, thanks. I always like seeing what people do to things. Besides, this is kind of just what Synapse is about. Bouncing ideas and other things back and forth between one another. We're all a bunch of creative folks. Why not express it? And at that, give each other a little more of a sound boost in places. Wow, I realized an accidental parallel on this one. Noise boost. Feel free to. I can answer them while I'm playing.
Huh?
Alright, I'll tell you a little. The name's Sana Hanakoma, born March 3rd, blood type A. I'm a Pisces and one hip cafe barista, mister. I didn't ask for your personal ad. Technically, you did ask for his ASL. I'm a big gambler. My favorite word? Windfall. I read that. Honestly, they kind of do. I'm trying to introduce something like that with the whole limit system. Essentially, like, if I recognize a card might be a little too powerful, I install limit on it, usually limit 2 or limit 1, or limit consumable. It's more of a... In my case, the rarity is more of a means of balancing the cards, as opposed to saying which cards are powerful and which ones aren't. Because, like, the way I see it, it should be down to the players to figure out which cards might be good for which scenarios, as opposed to rarities stating, oh yeah, these cards are just ridiculously better than everything else that you use. I'm kind of, like, adapting a roguelike mentality on that one. Some cards just are generally better than others, like the family heads, and I should have, like, some type of symbol for them thinking about it, just to indicate, yeah, this unit is head of the family. They're an especially powerful unit that you might want to consider having. But otherwise, I want to leave it to the players to try and tamper and figure things out. Kind of like a little playground. Might be a bad idea, so I might rethink that. Cafe is like a hobby. Totally hip, right? We actually do get to see that cafe later on and buy things from it. There are some pretty good drinks from there, if I remember correctly. Upgrades, too.
Huh?
Oh, shoot, wrong button. Owl. Skip through this. Actually, to be honest, I could murder a cup of coffee. Maybe something with, like, some vanilla cream. Maybe a bit of mint. Then again, I like mint a little too much. Those are a way of designating different types of cards. For those specifically, I usually have a specific symbol as well as a different card window to indicate unit versus equipment versus spell, and also a symbol for each as well. The pink one with the gray rope that you mentioned, I've been struggling for the longest for a good symbol to indicate these are spell cards, because I figure it's good to convey information multiple ways. As for blue with something that hits fireballs, spell cards and equipment both have an extra symbol on them to indicate what type of thing they are. For items and equipment, there are essentially a delineation between items, which are physical items, doi, and mentalities, which is the unit's way of thinking. With spells, there are... yeah, the pink symbol stands for spells, specifically. For spells, there are 4 different symbols. I plan to have a 5th for another type of card later on. Such, maybe I want to consider working on those. But regardless, for spells, there are 4 types. The one that you did mention was specifically a reflexive spell. Or, sorry, actually, I'm trying to remember what term I use. Either reflex spell or... like, shoot, trying to remember. I don't have anything like a database for whatever reason. I probably should consider doing that at some point. What I do have is essentially a massive group of pictures. Like, on the desktop, I have a specific folder for all the card-based stuffs, and I'm essentially, like, sorting them based on what family they're a part of. Ah, right. There are, like, 4 different blue symbols. There are, like, 4 different round blue symbols, if I remember correctly. The one that looks like it's deflecting fireballs is a reaction spell. It's specifically indicating cards that require a situation to occur in order to activate themselves. And usually it's either to counter or redirect the situation. There's one that looks like a shockwave, which is destruct spells, which do something negative for an opponent. One with green sparkles, which are remedies, recovery spells, something beneficial for you. And the last one which has like a bunch of orange and yellow icons in a gray circle, is essentially what amounts to a field spell. It's a permanent effect that lasts and soaks up a spell slot. I call it a sigil. There is another blue symbol to indicate unit, but I usually try to like have a different marker to denote them. Yeah, the blue with fireballs again is meant to be used to react to something occurring. Like say let's see if I can't pull up a card example. Okay, so on the Twitter, there's like a card called Counterblow. If I remember correctly, that one is an example of a reflexive spell. Yeah, I should probably make a database. Maybe while I'm like doing a whole bunch of editing tomorrow, I'll get on that. Just have an entire database set it up on the Steam page so everyone can look at it. It's a good idea. Sorry. Like, really sorry about all that. Just... It's a little tricky explaining sometimes. Well, that's good. And hell, if you end up coming up with some cards yourself, feel free to run them by me. Maybe I'll add them to the game. At the end of the day, I want Remem to be at least partially community. Just trying to suggest, if you're going to make something stupidly powerful, be careful. Because I already have one or two card ideas that are stupidly powerful by themselves. And, oh god, it's gonna be a pain to balance that. Because, like, I'm pretty sure I've already... Actually, no, I didn't post their pictures. That might be something I might want to do. Like, in tandem with introducing Entrancers, I did add another group of unaffiliated cards called Kree Vacationers. One of them has been in there since a couple of updates back, and has a disgusting ability. Yeah, that's fair. And again, usually it's knowing how things work is important. I do understand that. And it's a matter of maybe it's because of how I know how things work that's a little easier for me to balance things. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I'll see if I can't, like, get, like, a Word document together explaining rules, or... Actually... Shit, I just realized! I was going to make YouTube tutorials! I'm gonna have to do that at some point. Let's add that to the update. Let's do the next update. Fuck. I've been meaning to do them for the longest, I keep putting them off because things keep throwing themselves across my head. Like, being able to show things visually within Tabletop Simulator would be a good idea. Show how things work within there and whatnot, so that way it's easier to understand. Hell, it's because I tried to do that at some point that I actually introduced some initial money to help players along in the initial, because the initial is still a bit slow, but at least with a decent amount of Fracturia to start with, you can buy up some cards. And, so you know about this, if it helps you design cards. All cards go by a fixed cost of 3 Fracturia. Even then, every little idea and bit of help is useful. I mean, not sure if you encountered him, but Daniel Rotwind, he actually gave me an idea for an entire family, because he happened to like Magic the Gathering. I'll leave that as the only hint on that one, because I've yet to start on that one. But yeah, regardless, all cards within the shop cost 3 Fracturia. And from there, every 3rd and 5th card that you buy up costs 1 less. This bonus can stack to make it easier for players to buy in bulk. You can also buy off cards randomly. Yeah, kinda. Initial upfront cost so you can use the card. The card cost is fixed. All cards cost 3, otherwise, if you're buying it... All cards that you buy up cost 3. Buying in bulk can yield reduced costs. Randomly buying a card from a random family, it makes it so that you just pay up 1. A random card from a selected family is 2 by default. Otherwise, there are some cards that I do make consumable or an additional upfront cost. In those cases, I do plan on having little Fracturia symbols in the upper right of the card to indicate the card cost. Usually they'll be like blue crystals. Actually, one of the cards that I know of off the top of my head... No. All cards are situation-based, not mana-based. So, for every turn, you can call up 2 units, you can shuffle around units twice, you can inlay spells, use certain spells, and otherwise, if a spell has, say, a certain text on it that says trigger, for example, then you need to wait for a specific situation to occur. Otherwise, you can flip up a card in an opponent's turn to activate it, or otherwise inlay it to save it for later. Like, the best way I can explain it, if you're familiar with the game, is Yu-Gi-Oh! The roguelike. In some ways, rather. There are a whole bunch of variances in between, especially when it concerns the whole roguelike aspect. Shoot, I repeated the battle. Oh well. I like fighting things in this game. Don't any of you Ursus die? Like, seriously. Kind of annoying. So tanky. Ah, wrong direction. There we go. Oh, wow, I didn't... Yeah, that number in the upper right is a limit number. Essentially, you're only allowed to have that many cards within the deck. Otherwise, you can have up to 3. Some cards are limit 2, some cards are limit 1. Which essentially means maximum 2 cards in the deck, maximum 1 card in the deck. Do I have any pins to sell off? No, I do not. Good. Figured I'd double check, because sometimes I just don't pay attention to when I get money. Is that the tech? No, it wasn't. I did hear a pig noise, though. I need to go around and find that.
Open up your senses.
Yes. At most 2, at most 1. Where the hell is that pig? Is it below me? Yes, it is! There you are, you little bugger! Sorry, little piggy. Gotta wipe you out.
So, who's next?
Sure.
That's how it's done.
Ooh, Orichalcum. Okay, so the symbols... Out of the symbols that are blue, the ones that exist currently, the one that looks like a shockwave is Destruct. That is a destructive spell. That means that it inflicts a negative effect onto an opposing unit, or otherwise the opponent, period.
Huh?
Then there's the one that deflects fireballs is a general for trigger. Essentially, those cards can only activate when a certain situation occurs. Some cards do have, like, Destruct or... Some cards do have, like, other symbols on them other than the generic for trigger, but still have trigger. That one is a generic for indicating this is a spell card, period. Easiest analog? You know how in Yu-Gi-Oh! There are spell cards, but they also have, like, not just a different color border, but also at least 1 or 2 different indicators on the card as well? That's what I was trying to, take a spin on. Yeah, friggin' store. Oh, right, now I remember where the tech is. They're in the ramen dog. You picked the right noodle bar to hide in. Empty in the middle of lunch hour? Yeah, that's like hiding a brick in a brick wall. But yeah, to be honest on that one, I just don't know what I can use to properly represent spells. Well, spells period, I should say. Like, the others pretty much convey the point that, okay, this is a unit, okay, this is a physical item, okay, this is a way a person's thinking. I just don't know what to do for spells. You bet I'm buying a double burger. Actually, while I'm on that subject, what ramen shop has a double burgers? Like, that's a little atypical on the menu, don't you think?
Focus.
Oh, right. Food. Should probably get on that. Okay, so food items. No, it's fine. It's fine. Sorry about that. Okay, gray rope on pink sigil is spells. I'll try to write it in chat just in case. I do feel for that one. Just Twitch sometimes just likes to shit the bed. Crossing fingers. Right, so food items. Every character can digest food items, right? These food items can take usually anywhere from, I believe it's like 3 to... in some cases, 16 or 18 bites. Some of the smaller food items are drinks, and while they are useful, they also provide smaller stat boosts. But, unfortunately, there's something else that I need to mention as well while I feed Neku a double burger.
Not bad.
Edit that feed Cheeky some,
So yummy.
some juice. Okay, so characters will nom on these foods. The amount of icons here indicate the amount of battles that need to be trekked through in order to consume the food. In this case, 8 and 3. Foods provide fixed bonuses. Crossing fingers, and just in case, so you can see it in chat. Hopefully that can explain things a little bit. I figure if you're having trouble hearing me, then present the information multiple times, multiple ways. Psychology at its finest. Understand how people learn, and work with it. Well, I'm trying anyway. I'm failing, probably. Sorry. Essentially, I don't know how best to represent spell cards. Yeah, I am. Like, full blunt, again, I would ideally like Remem to be at least somewhat open to the community. To, like, design things, help me out with things, what have you. Oh, good. Sorry, just trying to work with the situation. Shoot, I forgot what I was gonna do. Oh!
Hey,
Right, talk to the butthole. He's afflicted! Alright then, thank you. Thank you so much. Whoa. Noodly noise! It's so wiggly! Okay, enough of that, me. Time to fight. And hopefully not get whipped. There we go. Alright, Shiki just can't duck yet, so... gotta make do. Hopefully take out the wolf first. Phew. But yeah, generally, I'm pretty open to ideas, because, let's face it, I won't know I don't necessarily know whether what I'm doing is a good idea or a bad idea, unless I hear people give their thoughts about it. Such that may only make sense, considering the entire game is based around people's perceptions of reality, so why not allow other people to help influence the game a bit? So I figure one of the quickest ways to do so is allow people to think up various ideas for like game modes or cards, and if I happen to like one or two of them, then not only will I add them to the game, I'll also give the person who came up with the idea credit. I mean, it's only fair. Oh, right. Cop drops. Because I think I can... Can I dip in and get them right now? No, I cannot. Maybe scan him then. Because I need a legitimate reason. That's a funny one. I've never even heard of Goetia keys. What? Essentially, sigil is a word meaning a mark or an icon. Depending on the form of media, they may refer to, like, runes. Huh, weird. Because I've seen sigil used in the context like runes or letters. Oh my god, this tech. Yeah. Such I have it in canon with this world that some technology is based around strings of these, essentially like code. Actually, some of the cards that are in the game currently actually do operate using strings of sigils. I'm not sure if I've shown off in a mulligan, but yeah, that's something that exists. Literally something that takes perceptions, catalyzes them into bullets to fire. Oh good, these two pins are maxed. So that means I could probably sub one of them out. So I can try Microcosmic Pole. Oh, right, there's a separate tab for Mastered Pin. I almost panicked for a moment. Okay, I want to mention something really quick about TWEWY right here. Because this is actually very important. I'm not playing The World Ends With You. I'm playing a randomizer. Like, back around 2020, December of 2020, a person came up with the idea to create a... actually, technically it was even earlier than that, but regardless. Someone worked on The World Ends With You randomizer. The current ROM that I'm playing right now is a TWEWY randomizer, specifically with the seed of the release date of Neo TWEWY. I figured that'd be only poetic. So if there's a reason why some of these pins look weird, like case in point, Ice Blow here being Natural Puppy as opposed to, I believe it's a Sexy D&D pin, that's the reason why. And at that, I also need to do something dumb now, because I'm changing around my pins. Here we go, Microcosmic Pole. Sure, fire it. Form of sign. Do you mean the icons on the card, or... Because the icons by themselves really are just another way of reading the information, other than just looking at the card border. Unless I'm misinterpreting what you're saying. such I could be.
Watch yourself.
Right, ice blows. That one.
I got this.
Oop. Drop a rock.
I got this. Sweet. I got this.
Drop another rock. Oh boy.
Sweet.
That could have gone better. I also don't normally use Microcosmic Pulse, so that's gonna be a tricky one.
We'll get it next time.
Yeah, actually. Like, the round ones are specifically, like, meant to be an extra denotation of... an extra way of subdividing the group of cards. The first symbol on the upper left is... the first symbol is usually, like, an extra way of saying what specifically the card is, be it unit, spell, or item/mentality. Then the next one below it is a way of subdividing it within a category.
Watch yourself.
Eat that. And drop a rock. Drop another rock.
Sweet. I got this.
Jeez.
Sweet.
I need to pay my attention to the enemies. Eat that. Wow, I'm dumb. Ooh, 2 more pins. Wait, just sync rate? Was that all the OJ did? I feel like I got screwed. And 2 copies of Long Live... Oh no, this one's Dragon Couture? Ah, but it's not an offensive pin. Don't really care for Long Live the Ice, honestly. Meteor Magnet looks good, though. I think normally it's Pavo Rail, too, so... Huh. Probably wait on that one, though, considering the other pins I've got. Oh, right, I meant to, like, sell off some cash. There it is. There's the money.